everyone, and I'm glad to meet you here again at Omah Library. My name is Satria Agung Permana, and I will be your host tonight. Welcome to the sixth session of Contextual Method, and we will have IBUKU, which will present Elora Hardy and Defit Wijaya from their contextual method in bamboo, which widely known for their works for bamboo craftsmanship workshop. And before we start the session, I will introduce you about Omah Library. And library is the coming with the philosophy of home for restless spirits, which aim to be a forum that facilitates access to architectural literacy and becomes a meeting point between students, academic, and practitioners. Book writing and editorial is done in Omah with the spirit of sharing knowledge. And through literacy, we try to start a discussion that's answer the various challenges that exist in the field of architecture. And starting from the discussion of theory, history, criticism, methods, investigation, as well as archiving and dressing architectural works. And we have edited several of our lecturers which had organized before, and you can access it in our website for free, and we are still updating more and more, and you can access the knowledge everywhere and every time. And Contextual Method is our webinar session, which had 7 sessions, and we are now in the 5th one about bamboo, redefining bamboo context. And we previously have Singgih Kartono, which come up with village, and then Eko Prawoto telling us about context, and Kit Ong interior about interiority. And previous week we have Albert Pramono, which telling us future fabrication, and tonight we will have Elora Hardy and Defit Wijaya. And next week as well, we will discussing about bamboo as well with Marcus Roselip, and last one we will have Paulus Mintarga, which will telling about build. And we have also a session for the youngers and the young gun, about Darah Muda, and we had 2 sessions in 2 previous months, and in this month we will have Akbar Rizky Agni Putra, and up until the last of the year. So please stay tuned and register if you're interested. And we have one new platform for the younger one, but in the old mind with young body. We will have 4 sessions, which we will invite Rizky Dikaputra from Rembuk Arsitektur, and Gario from Project XYZ, and Joy Lee from Concrete Matter, and Hazik Arifin from Lanai. And you could register it for free every Friday on every month. And as tonight we will have Elora Hardy and Defit Wijaya and about redefining bamboo, and we will be arranged by Rilit Sharif as the moderator of this session. Are you there, Rilit?
Okay, Satria.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Time is yours. Yeah, it's clear.
It's clear. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just start to introduce our speakers today. Elora Hardy and Defit Wijaya from IBUKU. I'll just read some of the prologue that been prepared by the team, the IBUKU team. IBUKU is a team of young designers, architects, and engineers exploring groundbreaking ways of using bamboo to build homes, hotels, schools, and event spaces in Bali, Indonesia. They're creating the new design vocabulary based on this one material, and exploring the way sustainable architecture and design can redefine materials that they use, the people work with, and the land that they build on all from their design process. The traditional skills of Balinese craftsmen, combined with the design ideas and modern engineering, just enable them to create original bamboo structures that meet the needs of the diverse clientele. Now, at the proposition that's uh, there to provide the space which people can live in the authentic relationship with the nature. They do this by designing fully functional homes and furniture that are made of natural substances and built in ways that integrate with the nature. They give the projects detailed care from the start to finish, and I believe from the macro to the micro, including the bespoke of interior furnishings. IBUKU has built over the 60 bamboo structures in Bali, and we can see the research tonight about the methodology of the design in Indonesia and around the region. Completed key projects include the Green School, Green Village, Sharma Springs, and Bamboo in the Hotel, which have appeared in the international publications like Article Digest, Folk, the Huffington Post. Upcoming projects are underway in West Africa, Lombok, and Bali. And we can see in the Instagram of IBUKU, there's like a huge progress of the arc. That's one of the wide span structures that we can see. And I can introduce the speakers tonight. The Elora Hardy is the founder and creative director of IBUKU, based in Bali. Bali local craftsman as well as the jewelry designs. She spent 14 years in the United States, where she received a degree in fine arts. And then in 2010, Elora left her successful career in fashion world to carry on the incredible work of the design built in world-renowned Green School in Bali, founded by her father, John Hardy. She reconnected with the culture and landscape that she loves, and today continues to cultivate Balinese artisans alongside innovative designers and architects, which is we can see the second person, Defit, Wijaya. And they make the Bali a global center for sustainable design and bringing those designs to the rest of the world. We can see some of the Elora's profile in the IBUKU website, and then the Defit Wijaya is the lead architect in the IBUKU and has experience of 13 years. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then she's become the senior architect and the lead architect. He graduated from the University of Managara with a Bachelor of Architecture. So without waiting for long, we welcome Elora Hardy. It's been very grateful for Oma Library and welcome IBUKU as a team and Elora as a principal designer and David as a lead architect for such a marvelous projects. And I can see that congratulated for all of the project and progress. And let's hear them. Can you unmute the microphone and just try to share screen? I will go. Everything is going well, Elora.
Hi everyone.
Yeah.
Selamat malam.
Selamat malam, Elora.
Selamat malam.
Selamat malam, David juga. Today we have like 129 people, and we get Marcus as well, that's presenter for next week. Hello, Marcus. Welcome on board. Some of the distinguished professor as well in architecture. Gede, Bunda, and some of the people here. Welcome everybody here. Let's discuss about tonight. Have a relaxed evening. Okay, Laura, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Oh, let's go. Okay, I'll just leave it to you. Okay, enjoy.
I was just saying it would be so nice to be all together in the beautiful library, which I haven't had the chance to see yet. But since we can't, at least we can all be online together, and even more of us than could have gathered otherwise. So we'll make the best of it. So what I want to say is that everything that we do, everything that I do, everything that we design, it really grew out of the choice to work with bamboo. I don't think I'd be creating spaces if I hadn't become aware of bamboo to begin with. And in the past 2 decades, for me 12 years and for the team before me another several years, we have actually created over 200 unique structures, many of them across Bali and also around Indonesia and around the world more and more so. And in the absence of a tried and true vocabulary of bamboo architecture, we've really had to invent our own rules and style along the way. And what we've learned more than anything is to listen. And not so much for what we want to create, what our own visions might be, what our own artistic sensibility is, but rather to listen to understand what this material, what any material wants to become. But first, we had to actually set a whole new industry in motion. We had to harvest, test, treat, process, and then design. And that's what's allowed us to build permanent structures with bamboo. And none of us feel like experts yet, because it is a journey. This is at the entrance of Sharma Springs many years ago. And what pulls us forward through the challenges, what really makes it possible for us to have motivation every day, is that this material, that bamboo, it lets us reach for bounty and abundance. It is about plenty and hopefulness. We don't have to worry about scarcity. We don't have to imagine that luxury is born out of precious and rare things, but rather that it's growing all around us. And we just have to design with it to create something new. And as my dad said about choosing bamboo to build green school, what he said was, we can promise bamboo to the kids. We can grow enough bamboo for everyone. And in doing so, he transcended the practical and he captured people's hearts through a combination of creativity and also the beauty and strength of the material itself. And one thing is clear, this material is a marvel of engineering. Its tensile strength can be compared with steel, its compressive strength can be compared with concrete in some ways. But overall, what is most similar to, apparently, is carbon fiber. And in some cases, the structural properties of bamboo have influenced and inspired ways of working with steel to create lightweight strength. And so we have often used these strong compressive poles intact, because this material, as it grows, is just a marvel of nature's engineering, and that compressive strength and that flexibility has to be utilized. And whether on site or at the office or at home, working from home, we have to be flexible like bamboo is. We have to actually be ready to unlearn some of our assumptions, some of our training, to reinvent the way that we work, to bend with this material. And it really doesn't work to apply thinking from other materials to bamboo. First, we have to understand it, and that isn't easy. Let's be clear, it's curving, tapering, hollow poles. No two poles alike, no straight lines. This is not a 2x4. This is not an I-beam. Each piece has its own personality. And while sketching is always wonderful, we love to do some sketching. This is early days from Sharma Springs even. It's essential for us to keep thinking in 3 dimensions. And while we do work with technology more and more so, this can't all happen at a desk, on a flat paper, or on a flat screen. Through the process, we do use CAD, Rhino, Grasshopper, but what really holds us is relating to the 3-dimensional space in 3 dimensions. And because we're so often designing into these terraced, contoured landscapes, the experience of understanding it and designing it must be truly 3-dimensional. So the model making process is where so much of our design thinking happens. We've got to get our minds into the site, inside the model. It took us years to think of cutting a hole in the floor under the model to put our heads inside and peek through it. But when we did, that shifted something to be able to experience from the angle of the people who will be inside the space later. And from a practical level, On site, once complete, the structural model, it rules. Every stick in that model, it literally represents a column of the house whittled to be a similar diameter to what it will be in the building. That is what the workmen follow. That's what the craftsmen respect. And it's amazing, look closely. That single craftsman in the middle of the frame, zoom in if you can't see him. He is lifting a structural pole into place, and it's his responsibility to figure out how that curving, tapering pole can intersect at several key points along a 16-meter length, and each of those poles curves. Now, the other way that we play with bamboo, and more so, is to bend it, to split it up so that it can be flexible, to unleash its flexible potential. And then we can play even more with our imagination, and we bend it to create these shell-like structures. And imagine, once we reduce some of the craftsmanship needs, some of the hand connections of every joint, once these systems are developed, we can grow the materials for a whole house, for a whole skyscraper, for a whole city, and have that be a practical reality. And that growth of that material can happen within just 4 years. These buildings, often we're designing them on these terraced ravines, and that's why we don't often make rectangles. Sometimes we do, but very often the sites on the edges of the river here in Bali especially, they call for these curves. We must curve and nestle them into the contours of the site to remind ourselves, I think, that these buildings can belong in nature and that we can belong in nature too. And once we're on site inside of the buildings, we have to keep considering how to think through the details. This is a laminate door frame, splits laminated together to make the door. In the background and in the foreground, you can also see a bundle of lidi working as part of the structure. And again, you see part of the natural poles. We combine many layers and many ways of working with the material to play in different ways with it. And in terms of a vocabulary, a shape vocabulary, inside a curving house, it needs terraced steps, and it needs a door that feels like a portal into a new world. And sometimes we're just in a box. Sometimes we are in a rectangle concrete space in a city. We were asked to turn this one in Hong Kong years ago into a Balinese landscape for a restaurant as a bespoke interior design project. And what we realized we were needed for, why we were being asked, was to bring comfort and closeness and texture and nature into this space. And more we are bringing bamboo overseas. This one is in Las Vegas. Fortunately, it's inside of a big warehouse, so we got to avoid some of the code issues, the weather issues this way. But it's a sculptural volcano. What they asked us for was a nature sanctuary in the center of a very techy, intense space. But wherever we are, wherever we're designing, wherever we're building, we just want to find comfort. We want the form of the building to hold us, to hug us, and the right balance of a connection to and a protection from nature is what we're looking for, to be enclosed while being immersed and connected. And more we're using what we've learned from bamboo and incorporating other materials. Steel, stone, that's a lime washed wall. But we have to hold close to keep our design thinking for them, to not default back to the way that people normally have been using those materials. It comes out of a thinking process from industry and from a whole journey that humans have been on with architecture in the past several hundred years. What if we can put that aside and think past it and think what the material wants to do, what the humans there will want around them? Sometimes combining these materials actually expresses the texture better, and the materials can even let each other shine. Also, remembering tradition to bring some of the past, the vernacular, not just from the techniques and the craftsmanship, a little bit from cultural ideas. How do we bring that into the future while it feels like part of the future? And we still love bamboo because it's just so intuitive. These columns, they are familiar. The form is friendly. I believe they almost invite us to lean against them. And I wonder also if natural materials in their uniqueness, with their texture and tone and variety and even scars, whether they give us permission, subconscious permission, to be our own imperfect selves around them. Because humans and other natural things, let's be clear, we are not made up of many right angles. And everything comes down to a feeling, an emotion. And in terms of progress in the world, change is inevitable. Human impact on the world is inevitable. But is it possible to make that impact positive so that human presence can add value to a place? Can being in a tree add some value to it? How can we live with nature, as part of nature? Aren't we also, after all, nature ourselves? And always, we're just looking for how we want to be held. Just as we wear our clothes, we relate to the forms around us. They inform our sense of self, they inform our identity, they become layers of ourselves. Whether you're in a building for a moment or whether you own it as your home, these layers have impressions on us. And wherever we are, wherever we go, we now have to ask ourselves the question, is it worth going there? How would we feel to be isolating or quarantined or stuck there? And with less freedom to choose where we are and to go where we want, we are more in touch than ever with the power of space, and with choosing that intentionally and carefully and dedicating our time and our resources to that. Space is a powerful thing. And when we have the chance as designers, isn't it incredible? We get to actually create space. As designers, architects, builders, we get to create it. We have that chance. So we also have the chance to reinvent them. A bed, a room is so often a bed in a box. How can we get beyond that? When do we have the chance to get beyond that? Imagine waking up here. And have you ever woken up from a nap, like lying under a tree, looking up at the branches, seeing the way the light moves? I wonder if we're hungry for something that we've forgotten we need. How can we recreate that? And we've spent forever, humans have spent forever building to protect ourselves. That's what the structures are for. But we've taken it so far. We've taken it way too far. Now, as a default, we shut ourselves off from the breeze, from the light, from the sound of each other, of our neighbors in the distance, but also from texture. Flat surfaces are alienating. They're convenient and useful in many cases. But where have we shut ourselves off unnecessarily? The texture of a floor, it can ground us and give us closeness. The first step of our day onto warm bamboo wood, the first step of your life, how does that form us and influence us? There is an element of mystery to the future. And there is a sense of adventure to being in a new space. It actually makes something new possible within ourselves. And we've now all felt ourselves stretching the limits of health and safety to be in places that we want to be in, close to people that we love. And for the chance to get outside, to be close to nature. And it's time that we remembered that we are nature. And it's in our hands to create our future memories, our future experiences, and our future selves. Thank you.
Okay, Elora, shall we go to Defit presentation? Okay.
Hi.
It's amazing presentation. Okay, Defit, I'll leave the floor to you.
Yeah, thanks. Can you hear me, Rick?
Yes, sure. Very clear.
Okay, cool. Okay, I will share my screen now.
Can you do full screen, David? Or just guide you? Ah, fantastic. Perfect.
Okay.
Go on.
So yeah, to complement what Elora already this presentation, try to mix the bahasa, and because I'm Sundanese, so nuhun to Relrik and Omah Library for the opportunity. Basically, it's an honor for us to be here and present our thought about bamboo and bamboo architecture. So this is my opening image basically, and because the title is like redefining bamboo, I will take that subject first into my interpretation basically. So this is what I feel and I understand about bamboo when I was young. So I live in a small city near Jakarta, it's called Bogor. So at my age, at that time, in my environment, there's still like a lot of bamboo clumps because my house is like nearby the big river of Ciliwung at that time. So there is a lot of bamboo clumps over there. And watching a lot of movie from the past artist Susana and everyone, many people said like the bamboo clump is the nest of like ghosts. It's a scary place. Even my mom said, watch out, don't nearby the bamboo clumps. There's a lot of green snake that can bite your head. So that is my first impression when I was a child about bamboo. And going into the school and university, it's very rare for me to see any like bamboo architecture basically. I saw a lot of furniture made from bamboo. I see a lot of ballet or like small hut in the rice paddies. I see a lot of restaurant, especially for Sundanese, for Sunda food. They are a lot using bamboo. So that is my understanding about bamboo during my school and my university. And at my university, I don't even look or like in Jakarta there is very rare bamboo building over there, I think. So I never look again what bamboo. My kiblat or my understanding about architecture is Peter Eisenman or Zaha Hadid or Frank Gehry. That is the kiblat. That is the architecture, high rise, full of technology. I can do anything as an architect. But I have an opportunity join this beautiful team here in Bali with IBUKU basically, because as a human being, I have the same vision, I think, or mission as a human, and I have this talent. So I have my responsibility basically on how I can improve things, at least near surrounding my family and myself. So as an architect, I just want to make impacts, positive impacts. And I think the vision is the same with IBUKU. And that's why I'm staying here for like many years until now. And I love to work here basically with Elora and the team. And just want to present you this, our recent project. This project is a collaboration result from a very awesome project team. It's concept by Yorkstam. He is like a bamboo master from German, but he stay in Colombia. And it's designed by IBUKU. It's engineered by Atelier One. And it's being done by PT Bamboo Pure with the Balinese artisan. So this is the arc at Green School. So in your left side, if you've seen, this is the scale of the arc itself. So the arc is basically a sport field, but it's also a multi-function hall for assembly, for playing basketball, for events, things like that. So it's quite big, and it's quite a visual primer for the green school itself. So this is the floor plan basically, and just want to tell you a story about this. We are keeping the previous foundation of the from the previous gym building. So we try to keep and minimize the foundation, and in terms of the additional, so we are trying to maintain that. So we know the function is a sports field, event, and assembly. So we have a lot of constraint when we are doing this building. We are understand we will need some kind like a free space for people can throw basketball ball, and when people playing badminton, so we need a free space around the area of the sports field. So that is the main constraint from the team at that time, how we can make a cover without any interruption in the middle, so people can do the activity. So in one time, in one bamboo session, those collaborators came at the same time. So Yorkstam is in Bali, Atelier One is in Bali, and there is Dennis from Green School as a client meeting with us together, and also with Elora. So we are brainstorming how we want to move forward to replace the previous gym into the new gym. So there's a lot of ideas, but one thing that Yorkstam came up is like, why didn't we make an artist from bamboo? And then we are like at that time is like Neil from Atelier One is mentioned, and then we adding a cover with fabrics, so it become a tensile structures. That is the best idea at that time, and we are like going toward with that idea, because like it has like a multiple bamboo arches, and then you just like covering with fabric as a skin, but you have a tensile structure on it. So it's very light structure buildings and system. So the journey is starting with a lot of models, I mean like a physical models, a lot of tests also in terms of stability and things like that. Just for your information, it's not represent the actual structure, but this model can be mimicking, or I mean you can feel it basically if you are like goyang-goyang sedikit, and if you can push it a little bit, you can see the reaction of the model. So we are doing a lot of model here. We are doing a lot of structure concept on this one. So at that time, we also do the detail one, how we can like interact the arches and the arches, how is the system will be. So along the process, when we are doing the physical model, we also doing like a lot of details on the connection basically. So this is one bay of the arches that Atelier One engineer. So this is, I think this is the preliminary testing that they are doing. If you see the blue one is itu adalah yang direncanakan. That is what we are planning. But after there is like load, like wind load or dead load or lift load, then you can see the deformation, or you can see the movement of the structure itself. It's shown in the red lines basically. So the very interesting and very challenging about this project is IBUKU, Yorkstam, and Atelier One never done this before, this kind of structure before. So how to make the idea become reality, that is the challenge. So one way, as you understand, I mean, there is no standard for bamboo yet in Indonesia. And so, and you also understand about this, bamboo is a natural material. So it's quite hard to have a standard for each pole, basically. So the one way to do how to make this building can work is to make a sample and then testing it. It's like old school or old way when people doing like when people doesn't have any standard or any standardization about materials. So we decide to make this 1:1 scale of mock-up, and then we are put load on it. If you see, there's a lot of string hanging, and we are loading that with batu paras or paras stone. So we are doing this, and we are seeing the movement or the deflection or the reaction of the structures, and then atelier 1 get this information. This one is how PT Bamboo Pure strategize how to manufacture the arches, basically. So they are like putting the templates on the soccer field beside the site, and they are doing the bamboo manufacturing or bamboo arches on the ground. And because of the limitation of the site and also about the heaviness of the arches, at the first time we are using a mobile crane to lift up that arches. I mean, it looks very cool because we never done that. There's a lot of challenge to bring that mobile crane to the green school as well, but it works. And this is the bamboo artisan installing the grid shell made from split. And if you see how intense the split becoming working with the arches to create one whole structure itself. So the split is become kind of like a skin in your ribs. If you are imagining the arches is the ribs, our ribs, and then you are covering with your skin. So that I think the best description about this kind of structure, basically. So this is the bamboo artisan that working on it. Just want to stop on this page a while and just want to share how that our design and atelier war engineering result is never can be built without them. So here in bamboo, and I believe in any other architectural methodology in construction, we are also relying with the builders. Here, this Balinese bamboo artisan is having like a lot of skills since years with bamboo, maybe before me also. So the process of designing and engineering is never stopped when we are complete our construction drawing. Just through in the construction process, there is a lot of communication happen here between us, engineer, and also the artisan. So this is the unique things about bamboo material. I don't know with other material because like for my years I'm staying here at IBUKU, I'm working with bamboo, but this communication is happen. Like Elora said at the first presentation, how about if we are listening? So here we are listening and we are communicating basically, not only with the bamboo artisan, but with the bamboo itself and also the site. So that is very, very interesting process in bamboo architecture, especially in bamboo construction. And just want to share with you that how important this bamboo artisan become the project team itself. So this is the finished result of the arc. And this is the interior view showing the undulating shell membrane or members. It's like first time I see this, I just like langsung keinget sama film Superman yang keberapa gitu, yang dadanya itu udah berotot banget, terus ada garis-garisnya gitu. But it's look like that from my perspective. It's not only the structures, it's look like an organism. And it is, I mean, like bamboo is like natural material, right? So it's not only a cangkang or a shell, but this is an organism that is living. Maybe it's not pulsing, but it's life, it's live. So when I was there, it has a different aura and it has a different atmosphere, basically. It's feel like it's beating atau berdegup. Even it's not real, but yeah, just want to share you what I'm feeling when I was inside that buildings. So this is the picture when the daylight at the day basically. We are very surprised basically about this natural light effect or like natural light result, because like at the first time we are like concerning, oh yeah, it will be a little bit dark because everything is covered by the roof, but actually it's not. We are blessed. I believe we are blessed, and it's very bright. It has a very beautiful sun pattern or a light pattern nearby the opening. So it's bright and it's functional. So even that in the daytime, maybe we don't need light to play basketball or to play sport basically. And this is a picture where the dust is the picture saat sore-sore ini. There's a light, artificial light coming up because like we also anticipating if there's any event happening in the night session. This is another picture when the lighting is on at the afternoon. So just want to bring us, including me, when we are like doing big structures or like big space where like very masculine, very strong. It's like big arches, big span and things like that. Always amazed with what Elora always see. Small details, not even small. I mean, this is big details, which is like she is caring about for these projects. So if you've seen closely, this idea is basically from Elora when we are like talking, what do we want to do with the pedestal? Of course, it should be made from concrete because it will hold the load for all structures. But she came with a very brilliant ideas about form working. How about if we are not forming the pedestal with standard plywood? How about if we are doing that with the deck? The deck is like a bamboo weave. So it's not perfect texture, but it is what it is. And it's complement. It's become part of the entire stories, basically, of the art itself. So this is the IBUKU team 2021. And I've done and finished. Thank you, Larry.
Thank you for the presentations, David and Elora. It's been amazing to see work. My God, Okay, I'll just have a conclusion later on after the discussion. Okay, we can have like a discussion for like a 15 to 20 minutes. You're okay? And, I'm going to read some of the questions to make it concise. I think the most important part is the content. I think because of the time is limited, so I'll have the first question. I'm just trying to cover all of it, but if I cannot, I'll just select some of it. There is a question from Indah. That's a question for Elora. It's curiosity about the first moment that you think you're serious in bamboo and then want to create your own bamboo building. Can you your first bamboo projects? Can you share it with us? Thank you, Elora.
I didn't have a first bamboo project because I just jumped in with the team and they already had a lot of projects happening. I just had a wish to help out. And my father was, I thought he was running the team, and he is a visionary and he's also complicated. So I thought maybe I could help translate for him. I could help get his ideas realized. And I just wanted to do something sustainable, but I was in fashion and there wasn't much I could find. Couldn't find a job in fashion at that time. There's a lot more now that was anything close to being sustainable. So I thought, this is crazy. My family is already doing something sustainable. I should go help with that. And then my father went on vacation for the summer and I had to figure it all out with the team. So thank God most of the team, a lot of the team had been there for 1 or 3 or 4 or some, maybe even some 5 years. There had been some momentum, starting with building some structures at John Hardy Jewelry and at my dad's place, and then the whole green school. We had lost some of the team. The creative director before me was Aldo Landwehr, and he had passed away tragically. So there was a lot going on, and I just showed up thinking I could help. And then I just was trying to help figure out each next step with each building, each client conversation. I jumped in on some interior design things really early on at Green Village, because there was a lot in motion. There were always like maybe 4 or 5 or 6 different buildings happening at the same time from the moment I got there. So I guess maybe Temple House, the house that was also owned by Sumant Sharma of Sharma Springs, but just before, I think I had a lot of say in that shape, helping plan that shape. And then of course with Sharma Springs and buildings after that. But it was just like jumping into a roller coaster when it was already moving.
Just out of curiosity, I mean, I thought that IBUKU is a wonderful ecosystem in terms of we can appreciate bamboo and integrating with architecture. And what's the experience? I mean, if it can onto the discussion, what kind of ecosystem, Elora, that's like your father has designed? I think it's designed well. It's like one ecosystem, like bringing another ecosystem, like bringing the example of, for example, like green schools. It's elevate the quality of the bamboo architecture to another level. I mean, what kind of thinking that possibly your father is not here, but you can just know about his kind of attitude towards the ecosystem. What's in his mind, actually? Like
the ecosystem is in the environment, or the ecosystem is in the group of the team, or what do you mean?
The environment.
Yeah. So Dad, at some point, he had been working with silver, he had been flying around the world, and he had been seeing lots of amazing things, but really involved in luxury. Just whatever is the most beautiful and the most precious. And then he'd been building his house out of wood, big wood, some recycled wood, telephone poles, but also a lot of big rainforest wood. And his friend Linda Garland had been like, bamboo, 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 bamboo in his ear. And they were very good friends. So he was like, go away. But after a while, he started paying a little bit more attention. He started noticing that bamboo is also beautiful. And then he watched the film called The Inconvenient Truth by Al Gore. And it was just like, oh, I have to be green. Just changed him like that. So when he and my stepmom decided to create the green school, they just said it has to be out of the most green possible material, meaning it has to be a material that is useful for the future. that is not just something recycled, using it again so you can feel a little bit better, or using it all up now and then it will run out. Like reclaimed wood is nice to use, but it will run out. So he just chose bamboo. And then he said it has to be beautiful. And then he said it has to be really beautiful, and it can't be normal, and it can't be boring, and it has to be amazing, it has to be new. And I think he just got the people around, and he found some other collaborators from around the world, and he just got everyone excited enough to figure it out together.
Okay, I can see how's the ecosystem like started with such a idea to create to respond to the sustainable. But I'll just extend to the next. Is so about the technical question. Is the first one is the age of the bamboo itself. What's your thoughts about it? And another one is the questions about the economic side for the bamboo and how it's going to be less is it really less expensive than the ordinary structure, or is something like a common audience ask about the questions for technicability of the bamboo. One is the longevity, how long that it will the age of the bamboo, and another one is how's the economic side of the bamboo. Okay, I'll just Elora want to respond, or David, and I'll leave it to both of you.
Well, bamboo, to use it, it needs to be 3 or 4 years old. It needs to have gotten mature. It has to be, it also can't be very old. Once it's like 10 years old, depending on the species, it will fall over and die. So if you harvest the bamboo, you're actually, if you catch it at the right time and you're using it in a building, it might last for much, much longer than it would in the forest even. That's a little irony about it. So you're building a building out of material that's 3 or 4 years old. And then there is a possibility, there is a future for bamboo where it is extremely economical. You can tell that it is economical because traditionally it was just used all the time and easily, but the problem was it wouldn't last. So a lot of people have assumptions about bamboo that it's not good, it's not strong because it's not treated properly. But once you get it treated properly and then you design carefully with it, the bamboo building can last for 100 years or more, the same as a carefully planned, carefully maintained wooden building would. So there's a lot of things possible with bamboo. What we're doing with bamboo, it costs as much, if not more, than a normal high quality building project because of the amount of care that goes into taking the material from the forest all the way to being properly treated and then designed with and then crafted. And so we've been very lucky to get enough high-end clients to allow us the possibility of creating things and doing them well and putting a lot of time into the process and the craftsmanship so that that's been able to balance out okay. So yeah, you can build something extremely high-end and expensive out of bamboo, and more as things get more efficient and we find systems that don't rely as much on careful attention to every connection, then it will become more and more economical.
I think it's just a normal process for like industrialization for the more make it more systematic.
Yeah.
How long the building age, Elora? You like a presume 10 years, 20 years, 50 years?
Lots of our buildings are 10 years.
10 years old.
The gym, we only had to take down the previous gym because it wasn't designed in the beginning to be long lasting. It was designed as a quick fix, as a quick, cheap, temporary fix. So it was amazing that it lasted for 10 years. But we expect all the other buildings to last for many decades. And I expect that depending on which ones deserve to be cared for and are still relevant, some of them will last for a century or more. Just like there's only some wooden buildings still existing, the ones that were special enough to take care of and people maintained.
Yes, I think maintenance is one of the things that's, I think it's quite technical. I'm just trying to going deep into another questions like how you gonna like convince like a new clients coming to you and the team. Elora, I want to make it something beautiful. How did you test them? or did you ask for the appreciation to bamboo, and how are you gonna convince them? Let's go for it. And like that. I mean, it's more the creating the system for you and the team, right? I mean, how you gonna like approach the client? I mean, if one, for example, people wanna build like a bamboo structures.
I don't think it's about convincing them so much as not losing them.
Mm.
I think people show up because something we've done has captured their heart, and some of them are unrealistic because they're just really in the emotion of it. Maybe they haven't got the money ready, or they don't actually have a process in place. So a lot of potential inquiries are not realistic. But from the ones that are, they always have someone involved, whether it's commercial or personal, that is just really passionate and really loves it and believes it and wants to be part of this. I think that some people really have the sense that they want to be in the beginning of this. They want their grandchildren to say, my grandpa was so cool. He commissioned a bamboo house before anyone else was doing it. And it's like part of your identity. You're like, you were really thinking about the future. Maybe they're concerned with sustainability. Maybe they're much more interested in beauty, but that's the kind of job. And even with the commercial jobs, there's someone involved who has a say enough to be able to convince whoever has the money to do it.
Okay. I'll just move to next question, Elora, from Indah Widya Stuti. Winda ada di sini mau, because it's the one of the professor in the ITB.
No.
Kan Bu Indah.
Thank you, Elora. Oh my God. Okay. Well, actually, my concern is because, as far as I know, in most vernacular architectures in Indonesia and perhaps in Bali, the local craftsmen and artisans, usually they mix wooden and bamboo. I mean, but here in the IBUKU's design, mostly they designs overwhelming scales of bamboo, and then I wonder how about the local, how do you manage with the local builders? I mean, do they have to learn again about how to construct that folding and curving designs, like especially the designs that Pak Defit show? Most of the designs, I don't know, Rich, perhaps you remember when we are doing the structure, when we are learning structure in our department, we found it when we learned steel structure, but now it is in bamboo, in a bamboo using bamboo materials. So I just wonder, I wonder how do you deal with this local craftsmen and builders, and do they have to learn again, or do you have special craftsmen and artisans that is doing the types of structure like that? Or I mean, how do you manage it? If the local craftsmen know about the bamboo, okay, I can agree. I can agree about that, and they know the wisdoms and everything. But how do they manage to contribute something for doing that big structure? That's what I wonder. Thank you, Rich and Elora.
Okay, amazing.
Okay.
Let's go, Elora and David.
Defit, I'm going to say something, and then it's your turn, okay?
Let's go.
First of all, we couldn't do it without the Balinese craftsmen. They have amazing skill. But what they also have is just a familiarity with the material to do the next thing with it that we're asking them to do. So basically, on one hand, it's that. On the other hand, we're training everybody all the time. Mix.
Yes.
Defit.
Okay. Defit, please continue.
Sorry. Yeah. I just want to add up what Elora mentioned. I mean, the summary is what like Elora just mentioning, Ibu. Just want to highlighting the process basically. I mean, the communication is quite critical and important from many stakeholders. I mean, like from the architects, from the engineering, from the bamboo artisan itself, and don't forget from the material itself. So we are like as an architect, we are like taking all that pieces together and how we are like merging that into, or like orchestrating this into a beautiful symphony, basically. So yeah, there is a lot of local wisdom that the Balinese artisan have, that we are like put our ears to listen and to discuss. And there is a lot of ideas from the designer, from IBUKU, and also there's a lot of questions from the engineer itself. So the process is the most important thing, like I mentioned previously, that it's everyone is like together try to solve a lot of stuff. I think that is my answer. Itu.
Rich, can I add a little bit?
Sure.
Yes, I'm very curious. Because it's very interesting to see how this bamboo can appear in a form that usually we know designers do that. So even sometimes I was wondering, is it the wisdom of the designers or the wisdoms of the bamboo crafts in the local? I mean, how do they contribute? How do they can manifest their creativity or yeah, I mean, mereka bukan tukang saja begitu, apa ya?
They're also designers, and it's a team of designers.
Yes. How do they part of the designers?
Well, on one hand, we are lucky that we get to do what we do because they're too polite to tell us we're crazy.
Yes.
Right? That's one part of it. Sometimes they're just like, this isn't gonna work, those crazy designers.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah.
Sometimes it's that. And on the other hand, sometimes we have to shut up and stop thinking so much and just talk to them and say, we're trying to do this and this. How would you do it?
Okay.
For beauty sometimes, and also for technical things. But anyway, no matter what we plan, the craftsman on site is choosing every unique piece of bamboo and where it will go and rotating it and whether it's full. So much of the care and skill is in the quality of those decisions, which is a level of detail beyond our involvement. So there's a lot of credit there. But no, that would Balinese bamboo craftsmanship would never have turned into the Ark on its own. It needed a lot of crazy people from around the world. And sometimes I think our job at IBUKU is just to manage all those brilliant people to be able to get it all to happen.
Yes. Thank you very much, Elora, Pak Defit.
Okay, I think it's an effective communication skill and appreciation skill as well.
Yeah,
I think
that's it.
And then let's come up to the I mean, after this question, we're gonna conclude all of the session. I mean, we are lucky to have a Gede to join us. I mean, he's one of the professor that in the Warmadewa. Pak Gede, you wanna show up? To us and discuss. Silakan Pak Gede.
Sorry, I was lying on my sofa.
No time for lying. This time for showing up. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, I enjoy your the presentations today. I admire all of your work, but I think one of the most important thing about Elora's work is how they inspire many young designers, many young architects to do the same way as what Elora did. Like 20 years ago, when I was a student in architecture department, we never saw this kind of buildings, so we don't have like a precedence of how to design with bamboo. But since Elora designs a lot of bamboo, then many young architects, including my students also, they are interested in designing bamboo. I think this is the most important impact of how your works, how Elora's work, maybe will change how we design, how we think about the future of our built environment. I think that's my point. Thank you, Rich.
Okay,
I'd say
you're welcome.
that is definitely one of my father's intentions when he started working with bamboo. He said, this is an amazing material. Everyone should work with it. If we can prove that it's possible, then other people will try too, and amazing things will happen. But what I want to say to your students and to all the designers out there is that it's only amazing, it's only a compliment when it's original. When there's originality and bringing some new ideas to the table and making something unique for yourself, that's when it's exciting to see. Because there is a sense that the kind of things that we've done are just like the way you build with bamboo, and it's not true. The way that we've built with bamboo, the leaf-shaped roofs, these things are things ideas that we came upon first, or that we were original in creating. But it's not the way it needs to be. There's a million different styles and shapes and techniques that can happen. So don't get stuck just replicating things that we did a few years ago. Make something new and amazing. Make us excited and impressed inside.
That's why you have it, redefining bamboo. It's like a redefining. I mean, this is the title of the presentation, David. It's amazing. I mean, the time is up, I think. Let's just conclude the closing statement, I think. Elora, probably, or David can start first. I leave it to both of you. You can just say some of the closing statement for your presentation after hearing all of the discussion. Okay. And after I will conclude everything.
Thank you so much for inviting us. It's been really exciting questions, exciting conversation, and fun to be doing it with you, Defit, and sharing some of the details and processes as well as the bigger picture stuff. So thank you very much for having us.
Yep. Okay.
Ya, thank you Realik sama semuanya untuk kesempatan ini, walaupun malam-malam nih, tapi makasih banget ada kesempatan ini, menarik banget. Dan ya semoga presentasi kita ini bisa menginspire semua, dan kata Elora tadi juga bisa menambah kreativitas di bambu arsitektur, karena akan seru juga gitu loh, banyak orang yang melakukan atau memakai material bambu buat arsitektur mereka. Itu aja, Realik.
Okay, thank you, David and Elora. Your presentation today and the discussion. So far, I think we have answered all of the question. If you guys, we'll try to send all of the question to IBUKU team, and let's see if you guys wanna converse with them. But I'll just conclude the presentation today. Okay, Elora and David and the IBUKU team, or the total IBUKU team, has done like a 200 units of bamboo structures. It's amazing and it's crazy actually. It's a way to define and refine bamboo architectures. And it starts with the question, it's like, what is the vocabulary of bamboo architecture? I learned from their presentation by listen. They ask, do we listen enough? Learning by listen is one of the methods that they have in the design vocabulary. I think it's a one way to create vocabulary to the form, to experience the life. I can call like a biophilic, I can call like the intuitive, I can call like a technical, but I think it's like a symbol of all of the elements like looking into one go. Like Elora and IBUKU team and David and as a lead architect, like made the ecosystem for the bamboo in architecture. It's continued for the good intent and make the agenda for the sustainable approach, I think. Because all of the people in the world, if you know that some of the things, it's like always starting with the materiality, and it's continued with the carbon, evaluated with the carbon, and the last. This is about the arc for the future. It's try to redefine bamboo with a greater scale, multiple factors. It's focusing on the ideas to make arcs covered with the fabric at a time, and it has the multiple iterations until design to the constructions, from the meshing to details. It's testing the load while there is no standard. The deck is used for casting concrete. I think it's amazing to see the ups and downs, low and high, and the rich and the poor and the poor and the rich. I mean, it's becoming like the play of the art. It's no wonder like the principal is has a graduated from the art subject, and then it's blessed by universe. It's the forces that bring you to the Oma library, and then we can learn that the most basic skill is the communication is important. It has the open platform and it has an effective communication skill, and the last is the appreciation skills that's shown here. It's amazing appreciation skills. And I think at the end of the discussion, I think Elora, please do not revert to our old project. You have your own thing. So I think that's quite amazing to see what Elora and David hope that hopefully a lot of designers will come to the more innovative ideas for the sustainable approach. So that's, I think, all of this crazy, right? It's amazing imaginations, and looking forward for next week presentation by Marcus. Marcus is here, and then amazing. I can say again, grateful for the blessed moment that you both gave us in Oma Library and all of the audience. Thank you as well for Hanifa and Satria as a host, and then Lulu and Nirma as well.
Thank you, thank you.
I'll just thank you again, Elora and David. I'll just pass this one to the Oma Library team. Terima kasih.
Thank you, Real Rich. Thank you, Elora and David. It was a wonderful
Thank you,
time to have
everyone.
you here. And before we end this session, we would like to have a photo session. So please turn on your camera. Give your best smile, and we will take your picture one by one in these slides. Okay, are you ready, guys?
Ready, Satria.
Okay, let's go. So we will start with the first one. Okay. Next one. Okay. We don't know where your face will come up, so please turn on until the end. Okay. The next one. And the last one. Okay, thank you again, Elora and David and Rich and Oma Library. We will see you again in the next month. Goodbye and have a nice night.
Okay, thank you, Elora. Pak Gede, Bu Indah, everyone. Just stay here until everybody leave. Satria. Okay, Elora. Hope to
Thank
see you
you,
in Bali.
everyone.
Pak David.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Okay, take care. Saat kita harus stay sampai semua selesai.
Okay.
Okay, everybody, thank you for
The
landing.
control is on Hanifa, so I could.
Ini beneran nggak
Oh, Hanifa ya?
cut ya?
Iya, nggak boleh.
Turn off.
Nah, caranya.
Makasih semua yang sudah datang.
Oh, kayaknya Pak.
Yuk.
Kak Rich.
Non. Masih 49. Sampai ketemu minggu depan.
Jangan lupa besok daftar tua-tua keladi ya guys.
Oh, ya, yang mau jadi tua tuh apa?
Daftar darah muda juga biar masih muda.
Jangan lupa testimoni ya guys.
Oh iya. Ini yang pada masih ada Pak Gito Miko. Pak Puji. Abu Haludin. Raffi.
Udah habis nih kayaknya.
Cuma Widya. Viviani tuh. Ibu. Gabriel. Kan? Kan masih ada. Pak Gito, Pak Puji. Wah, ditinggalin nih HP-nya pasti nih. Firman. Burhanuddin. Masih ada loh, 39 nggak turun. Oke.
Yang ketiduran bangun.
Iya sudah.
Oh ya Pak Burhan. Ketemu lagi minggu depan ya.
Ya, minggu depan Pak. Terima kasih. See you.
Ya, Chris ya. Thank you Pak Burhan.
Ya, you're welcome.
Pak Puji. Marcel, lu ngapain? Ini pada ngapain sih? Kita bingung ya, ini pada ngapain gitu. Perang yang udah selesai ya, tapi nggak keluar-keluarnya kayak dalam bioskop ya.
Ketiduran mungkin Kak.
Udah pada dibersihin nih kursi-kursinya kan, popcornnya gitu. Marcel. Roto. Ya.
Gimana Kak Riz?
Nggak sadar kali. Menurut saya sih ini HP-nya kayak ditinggal. Ya,
Ya biasanya gitu sih.
Oh mau ngerjain kita Kak?
Oh, bisa jadi.
nah,
Mau ngerjain
itu dia.
rumah.
Widya, Erliana, Wiputra, Rizky Arda. Lucu ya. Lihat ini ya, anak-anak R tuh pasti iseng-iseng aja tuh pasti. Ian tuh ya, Riko. Iseng nih ya. Itu banyak ya. Pandu tuh. Pandu bukan Pandu NR ya. Pak Dimas, Firman, Roto, Raffi.
Pada nongol.
Ada Pak Nurudin. Pak Nurudin. Pak. Siapakah Anda sebenarnya tuh? Pak Nurudin. Ini berarti di itu aja, di apa?
Udah habis
ya. Udah kita off ya. Sip.
Makasih
Ya
teman-teman.
semuanya. Yo, bye. Yo, oke.
Bye.